Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. It is Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. We are opening about, I would say, break even with yesterday. Higher lows still, comparatively, which which is the part that really matters in terms of where we are. Again, we're going through earnings season, so in terms of handling short term vol from that, uh, definitely having a higher low today would be a confirmation of that. Now we're sort of looking at it in a few different ways depending on if it's growth or value. Value has basically it's almost if it's a straight line. There's not much there. That's again due to the fact that it's value. They don't really change in earnings. There's no growth in earnings. And most of the points they've gotten recently is because of again this idea of these macroeconomic conditions of COVID ending, a lot of government spending, which is direct to those companies, and so the tickers that we look at on the value side generally have not seen much price action here. Right, this is a blip. We're down 14 basis points. We're going to open higher again, uh, comparatively to the low, and from that point, going towards the end of the week, that's where we're 1% away from the all-time high again. So this is where it takes one day to just change things, and which is why we're on this long-term view that even with 2 days just pulling back here, they're they're not really consequential, right? Because when you throw earnings in, then it sort of adds all the story together, right? And so what we're still looking for though is of course price confirming these ideas, not just a story. S&P's opening 16 basis points lower. It's again, it's just break even, right? It's break even, and it's again what we're really looking for if we really want to get down into the nitty gritty and remove again we're looking very long term and overall on a trend. But if we want to get nitty gritty and look, then it would be those lower lows or and higher highs when we look at them. If the market is starting that way, that's almost enough of a confirmation of that. It's almost you don't really need to see more because again, a lot of the price action we should be getting here and that we will. And again, just like earnings, through the earnings season, the price action doesn't come during the day. Netflix is down what, 8% right now? That's not coming intraday, right? That's not intraday. But what you do get again is this sort of flash of flash of what is to come sometimes, and most of the time not at all. And so something like Netflix here, this is where the earnings don't matter for the trading. And so when I say they don't matter, again, we can all understand that the earnings matter in the sense that they're literally the only thing that can change the price and change the outlook for any company in the stock market, because it's quite literally the only thing that we have 4 quarters of something that could change. That's it. The rest is speculating around how well a company will do, and earnings is the only way to confirm that. The reason why we can say that the earnings don't matter is because the trading never revolves around it. There is no trading around it. This is just going to open up 8% lower, isn't it? There is no trading around it. It's all pre market after hours. And then this is again where when you're making decisions about trades, you're never going to get a hint or anything like that. There are times in there, yeah, and it depends. There are times when you're going to get a run up into earnings in this state of maybe consolidation or uncertainty leading into earnings because you're not sure and there might be something to come. And right now, quarter 2 should be the best earnings for most companies. And really, what we're looking for is guidance. Netflix did fine. What was the difference? They're not sure about their next quarter, right? They're not sure about their next quarter. We can add these things up. And again, this is where it starts to get really silly when we start to go through it because it's like, oh, Netflix spent 470 million buying 2 movies or something silly, right? And then goes, oh, that's actually a lot, and that's actually going to add into the next quarter, and so they're probably not going to have a good quarter. It literally comes down to things like that. That's where that has nothing to do with trading. And so that's why we remove ourselves from that equation, right? It's important to understand how we remove ourselves from that because it doesn't revolve around trading. What you can do is this is going to open up at 503. It's going to open up into this support down here. What is this support down here? This is the major support on Netflix in this whole area here. It's technically the lowest is down here, but we also have this level down here. And so again, we're coming into the lower end of the range. And if we just remove this idea, right? And that's what you should do. You remove the idea of why and how, and you just turn it into a trade. Okay, it's gonna be at 504 and a half. There's probably a trade down there. Because why? Well, is Netflix gonna be lower or higher, right? Am I saying I want to go take it now? No, but just remove the fundamental idea from it, because again, that's not how it's going to be traded from here, right? It just happens to be opening lower because of earnings, right? It gets adjusted, right? It gets adjusted. We're going to probably see that in other areas. The thing here to remember is that it will be different for things like Apple, for instance, right? It will just be, I mean, even if you want to just go fundamental, it's just fundamentally different, right? They're not. It's very different. You're not going to have Apple gapping down 8% because of earnings. These things are very much already a part of where price is, and again, that's because these charts are all completely different, right? We have very different charts. I talked about how we had a bit of a bearish candle here yesterday on Apple. Could lead to a lower candle today. We're opening 0.5% lower, but again, we're still higher than this low, and that's such an important factor here of continuing a trend, because it's really nice to have this wick here that touches down into a trend line, creates a new trend line. And when we look at these across the market, and again, we just look at the average, very good spot. It's a very good spot. And again, we're sort of back into my predicted target, which is really just the average velocity that we have on these on the market, right? It's actually a little bit sharper, but we're right actually in the middle of it and actually trading on the trend line now in terms of what I would expect. And so it'll definitely be interesting to see today, coming after 2 days of, again, when you read headlines, I was reading some like Bloomberg articles today, it'll be like, oh, growth is going back into a consolidation. The dollar's gaining. Bond yields are rising, and it goes back to the same dynamic. And it's like these things change every day, don't they? And again, we have 2 days here, but not of selling. It's that very straightforward pullback. And again, if the price rises here, then it's back to the same story of all-time high, and we're 1% away from the all-time high still. So we need to see more, right? And this is where we allow our bias that we have now to really dictate our play and our strategy here. And it really is such a good way to go forward. I'm still very much taken by the bias right now, and in allowing for these longer term trades. I want to be very careful about trying to make short term plays around things I see. And again, this would be something like when we look at BABA, right? So I take this big BABA trade. We're actually opening right at the low again. And so again, not losing anything here. It didn't go up, right? It didn't go up. But the difference here is if I took a very short-term trade here, which is when this sort of thing happens, in most circumstances, the trade I'm making here is a short-term trade because I'm looking to get points right now, like this trade down here. And we get the points right now, and you make a lot of money on it. And then it goes into the next one, and you go, let me do that again. But I understood that through my bias right now, going longer term. So this here, it doesn't even do anything. The price is going to open back up to where it was yesterday, right? And this is where taking a 3-month out option is very powerful and allows you to actually make trades that, again, you don't have to worry about, but also that you give it a higher probability, right? You're giving it a chance to actually perform and to do something in it. That's really where the cost basis really comes in, right? That allows you to fill on cash. And right now would be I would say that if you did what sort of my path that I'm on right now, which was I took profit on all of my short-term trades back over here, then you would be sitting on a lot of cash right now if you weren't spending that extra amount for long-term trades. And so think about it, you wouldn't be making any money right now, and you're sitting and waiting for this pullback to do something for you. And the move here will not be quick enough to actually really get paid on short terms. And so this is again where you wouldn't be able to get filled on all of your cash to begin with. I mean, even if you're a smaller account, it just the probabilities don't line up the same way. Whereas this is explosive, and you get again, you get a reward that's paying for the risk involved. And so again, that's where right now I'm not looking to make money today. I'm looking to make money in 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, right? Whereas again, the weeks prior, we were looking for the money right now. I want to see it right now to be able to continue this position. Otherwise, I'll go put it into something else, right? And so that's again where if the price is going down, as long as it's not pushing me out of this position, then I'm very happy with my position. And again, we're looking for really just rounding off the rest, which is around this travel sector, because again, there's a short-term volatility there, and then around the rest of growth tickers that have not been on this trend, and we've seen a lot of those. And again, we're trying to get a part of those, and we've basically done most of that. When we look at travel coming into today, these are opening lower, right? These are opening lower, and it's right back to where we basically entered these. So AAL is right back to where I entered it, right? And this is again where, when you look at it, okay, this is actually, CCL actually is opening up quite a bit higher than where the entry was here. So some of these, again, 0.5%, 1.5%, it depends on the ticker, but all of them are still opening higher than my entry from yesterday. But there's a big difference between taking a long-term trade there and a short-term. Short-term, you would be down probably a significant amount today. Even though you're up technically on the underlying, the movement is what kills you here. The movement is what kills you. That's where having 3-month down, it doesn't matter what your movement is. You could be trading downwards, and because you bought on fear, think about it. You bought on fear while the price was pulling back. If you did it yesterday, if you're buying when the price is pulling back and you don't really have an end in sight, then you're getting those options for cheaper than where they would be priced right now, even if they were lower right now in the underlying. Because again, the movement isn't violent down towards the downside. It's actually up a bit in pre-market. And so even if you're break even, again, you're going to be probably up on those contracts because the price isn't falling. That's the only difference, right? And you're in a long-term position without exposure to these short-term. And so again, we'll see if this is the point. Really what we're trying to do here is we're not trying to get perfect timing. We're trying to get the best sort of plan and preparation for the long term on these very volatile trades, which is you're not going to be able to time the bottom or the breakout on a long-term trade because they'll start to move well before, because they're not really lined up around the short-term volatility very well. Because again, it's pricing volatility in the future, not right now. And so since there's so much volatility right now, it's pricing a lot of volatility in the future. So you have to take advantage when the price gets cheap when it's falling. And so that's what we're trying to do with the other growth tickers as well, right? Is that these fall, and then we try to get it when it's falling, because that's the cheapest we'll get for those 3-month out options. Because if we buy it when it's on the breakout, it's just repriced already, and we can hold through price falling down, right? We can hold through price falling down. What I said yesterday is that basically yesterday was the last day to do so on a lot of these. I would not be buying anything growth rate today if you didn't do it today or yesterday. Just due to timing. Again, we're sort of getting now towards the tail end of the week. And if price does start to turn here, yes, you need to somehow be a part of that, but everyone's probably already a part of it. It's just about these other positions that are not within the trend right now. I wouldn't be forcing them, because again, now it's, if you didn't get it at the sort of a point here where you have a strong base and you paid less for it, I know it's going to be more expensive today and tomorrow. If it's break even or up, it's going to be more expensive compared to when it was selling down and no one really knew where it would end, right? If we come over here, spot VIX continues to climb, which is definitely a good sign at least that that there is some sort of life down here. Whether or not whether or not we can sustain some volatility right now. Again, earnings, it should, the spot VIX should be up. Volatility should be up because of earnings, and we just started it here this week because of some hedging that got involved at the all-time high. Because again, we opened up all-time high, and again, this basically just looks like the dollar coming out of the low here. This is because again of bonds being bought in the way in which we've seen the rest of the markets work, which is if you look at China, China had a rough day today. Tencent and Baba had a rough day on that exchange, and that's how we can really look at the dollar value there. This is really funny, I think, in terms of price, because again, this is why I bought Baba yesterday, and if you look at the difference between where Baba is on the Hang Seng, and this is how I bought it. This was the timing, and this is what I think is cute, is that this is where I bought Baba on our exchange, was from this, but this came a day after. But if you remember, I did the calculation of how many days ahead we are. We're over 2 days ahead compared to the Hang Seng because they were closed for a week. And so we're actually technically ahead. And so this is again where when you look at the difference between these two, yeah, we're opening 0.5% lower, but again, we're not coming down here. And this is because of the tempo. And so this makes this trade, and that's where it's unfortunate that it went the other way. It would have been really nice, obviously, for it to come the other way and not to have the news be this way to the downside. I talked about that I'd buy it down here, but this is where that timing came in to take the trade in on this candle and not the next. Because look, we're not actually opening lower than really the entry here. It's not like the Hang Seng, and this is where it's sort of interesting to look at, because it does tell me that this here, we should technically, if you put it to the fact that this trades before the Hang Seng just traded hours before our market just opened here, right? We should be reacting to this, and Baba should be opening down there, but it's not. Why? Because again, the tempo is quite different here, and that's actually confirmation that we are on a different timing and a different schedule comparatively. I don't know what's going on here, but hello, Trading View. I don't know what's going on there, but it does confirm the fact that Jesus Christ, what's going on here? Are we back now? The hell was that? I think we're back. That was internet. That was internet. I'm not sure why. Here, let me put the screen back on. Okay, we're back. Nothing happened, trust me. Let's hope that doesn't happen when I'm trying to buy something or sell something worse. All right. I actually don't know what that was. We haven't had any internet problems since I stopped doing the YouTube thing, so YouTube and Discord don't like each other. Okay, so anyway, Hang Seng opening lower from Tencent and Baba. Tencent and Baba are the only things that matter in China. They both open lower, but we're not seeing it on the U.S. exchange. And again, it's because of this timing difference, which is what I bet on yesterday with Baba. We'll see how that trades and whether this trade turns out nice, but the confirmation is here that this is not opening like it is on the Hang Seng. It should be opening down here. It's not. This is the candle that lines up with the last one that you see on the Hang Seng. So makes it interesting for this trade, and I do like it a lot. I think it's a cute trade and a cute difference between the exchanges and how you can be connected but so disconnected at the same time because of because of the trading that actually goes on, right? It's not so much the perceived value, it's the trading that happens, and it'll be interesting to see. And it's not really moving so far, so we could just gap down, entirely possible. And I'm gonna be a long-term investor down there. So that's thankfully why we have 90% of my portfolios in the value trade that's trending right now, right? A few things I'm looking at today are things like Boeing down here, BA coming at the low here. These are definitely chances. This is a spot where I want to be taking this trade here. It's opening higher than the low again, and so I likely will be taking this trade off the low 3 month. These are a little bit more expensive. Same with when you look at GE here, comparatively, they're a little bit more expensive here because I think they are attached to the index that's really doing the best here in the side of the market that's doing the best, which is really the value side. It's not getting negatively impacted. It's going through a consolidation, and so I do want to get involved here. That will be likely the last of long positions that I have to put on. Right, there's not really much else. The only other thing would be sort of this retail store idea that we were really a part of, but we captured most of the move, and so I don't want to allow myself to be in a position where we captured a lot of points on a long term on that sector, and then to go, well, we need to make it happen again. That's where I think that might be bleeding into some of your minds as well. That we make a lot of you make a lot of points and you make a lot of profit on a trade, and then it consolidates, and then you think it needs to happen again. Sometimes it's just not going to happen, and that's one of those ones that with earnings coming up, it just may not happen. So I'm not going to force that because I don't feel as strongly about it. Like if we bring this into perspective, right? Like this trend, the retail store thing just trended up and amazingly well. But we had short-term trades here, right? This is a short-term trade. Do I want to put a long-term trade on over here? I'm not so sure that's what I want. I think it's still short-term trades, which I'm going to treat it like that. And so those are still those are trades that I'm going to trade accordingly. I'm not going to let a bias shift that idea. Otherwise, that's what we got. We'll see how mega caps do today. Again, they're all opening higher than their low from yesterday, basically. I think Amazon's the only one that technically it's opening right at the low of yesterday. So the rest, even Facebook, is opening higher than the low. So we'll see what we get here in terms of bid from the start. It's definitely that's what we're looking for. There's not really something to look for a trade, I wouldn't say. So again, we're not looking too closely. We're going to stick on 15 minute candles. So again, we're looking at sort of teetering off the rest of the long-term trade, and then maybe looking to take some chances when we can get them, sort of like we did yesterday, as they come, right? If we see anything, we'll take them as they come. Otherwise, we put the rest of travel on, get the rest of my growth positions, and now we're sitting. We're sitting for the ride, or the ride up or ride down, right? One of them, because we have long-term trades to hold through a pullback. That's the whole point. The whole point of the long-term trade is to be able to hold. I'm ready to hold for the rest of the week. So we just need to see what it looks like, right? Maybe make some trades to hold on, to be able to price some risk. I think that's definitely some of the Bob ideas, definitely able to make some profit in a shorter term still to be able to push that long enough. Some of those are still out there, but I mean, if your portfolio has anything that revolves around some of my ideas, then we've definitely made enough money in the last month, and then not to mention time before that, but just in this last month of coming out of the consolidation, you definitely made enough that you can wait 2 days, right? You can wait 2 days for the trend to keep going. we had 14 green candles in a row. You're gonna be all right. Like if you didn't take advantage of that moment, though, then that's why it sucks right now for you. You just woke up, right? Your money just finally get deposited into your account, and now you're like, can I buy right here? Well, it's probably a good day to buy. It would have sucked if you bought 2 days ago at the high and then sold at the low, but probably doing all right now. What do we get? What do we get? We put this over here. Not much for yields. Crude is down again today, which again we're getting back into some volatility on the oil side, which you know turns me off. Definitely turns me off. Having so much short-term vol. That's where it's a good thing I did not take chances and I just have long-term positions on that. That again, that's why, so that you can push through the short-term volatility. But yikesers. Okay, stable start. Don't see much. Don't see much. Everything just opening at that level from yesterday. In terms of ticker stopping off, we saw WBT. WBT's from a list. The industrial side gapped up. Again, whether you're in that position or not, these things happen. Z-Lab is continuing to do well, which is this chart. This removes itself and then it continues just to do the same thing and do well here. We'll see if it sells here. The ability to take trades around here is God knows what. Some of these, we definitely have some volatility around positions that should not have it. So whether it's to the upside or downside, the Myrna trade, I think, again, this is, from what I talked about, I know it was definitely hard for some people to look at some of those, but again, we just keep pushing the position, and again, Captain Hindsight, we can go, oh, it's up 4% today, oh. But again, that's we had to hold through -5%, -3%, and be like, no, that's good, that's a good hold. That it's not easy to do that. It's not, and I understand, but that's the whole point. It's the whole point. You don't get to decide when the top is every fucking day, right? And then you're in and out every day, and it's not gonna happen. You just gotta keep pushing. Well, so I do like that had showed itself here. I mean, there's so many different things happening. Like, I mean, there's just too many things happening day to day for some of these things, like for vaccines and like Johnson Johnson's bigger than the vaccine right now, and some of the news that comes in, it's like we can buy because of bad trading from news, and then now the news is affecting it again, right? And so now it's like I'm in this position from this low. This has been a great trade, but now it's like, okay, now the news is coming back in again. It doesn't matter still, so I just don't care, right? If you make a trade, it's where you need to be consistent with why you made a trade, right? You don't make a technical trade and then go, oh yeah, now the fundamentals of news matter. Now I'm gonna trade the news. I like the candle so far. See where we get. See where we get. I haven't really paid attention to what earnings are coming up. I know the dates, but I don't think I know anything that happens this week. I don't think there's anything else. I know that the big boys, the big tech comes later. We got a week or two. All right, very chill start. This is again where I'm very happy about being in a longer term. Fuck, imagine trying to make a short term play work right now. My contracts would be worthless right now. Everything I bought yesterday, I'd be down on. Like, okay, that was good. I gotta wait. I think a focus will be watching watching some of the ARC stuff here. Definitely the continuation of the trend downwards, and whether or not this can pivot from here. Definitely the weaker side. But again, when we look at some of the SQ holding here, I think is very strong. And so some of the individual, when we talk about the difference between the ETFs and the individual tickers, these are just doing better, right? They're doing better than the averages. K continues. This has been a nice trade so far. Again, longer term, continue to trade that bad boy. Again, healthcare, the value play again. This shit just continues. So that's where we're getting our value from right now. It's not about today, about tomorrow. Even though I've put so many different bio plays and different things on, you'll have to deal with it. We'll have to deal with it. It was still higher than the low, and it's Facebook's down 1%, but you're higher than the low yesterday. So that's almost all you need to get started here. You go. See, the thing is here is that as long as you're not going down, there's only one way to go. That only one way. One way. Yep. CCL up 1%. He just points out. We'll see again. Timing. It could have been this candle. It could have been this candle, right? It's you never timing the. You're only timing it well if you buy it every single time. So it's good. You could, you know, this is again. This could be the lower. It could be lower. You don't really. If you buy it every time, and then that's why I keep saying it to you guys, because it's like it's really easy for me to sit here and I buy it every time at the low, and I talk about it, and then sometimes I'm right, and then it goes up, and it's like, oh, I timed the low, and then it looks easy for someone else to do it. It always looks easy if someone else does it. You don't see the fact that I bought it every single time it went down. That's the whole point, because you don't know. You don't get to know. Sometimes we have better information, and we have supports, but sometimes it's in the middle of nowhere. You just buy it. You're trying to take a probability and buy it there, and sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But if you don't do it, then you'll never make it. You'll never time it if you never fucking buy it. You're watching it. Oh, now it's up. Oh well, missed it. But I looked at it, and then you pat yourself on the back because you looked at it. Oh, good job, trader. You looked at it when it was going down, and you thought about buying it. That will definitely pay the bills. Good job. Good job. Did it. Like, no, trust me. When we were coming out of COVID, I really did think the market was going to do well. And, here we are. We've been trading through all-time highs for over a year. And I haven't put my money in yet, but I'm thinking about putting in Dogecoin. To be honest with you. No, see, you don't understand. See, it started as a joke, but if you really think about it, it's not any different than the dollar. It's only what people think it's worth. See? You see? And there's a difference because you can always make more Dogecoins. So it is like the dollar. And so you don't get it. Gone coin. You know what's really funny is I went into my Google Drive, and 3 years ago, I had this whole document. This was when I was down in Florida, when I was opening up a new trading floor, and I have this whole document for making a digital marketplace, and I have all these. It's not so much it's basically NFT but without the blockchain and stuff. And it was to make a digital marketplace for basically it's not real. It's just like NFTs are not real trading, but you use actual money, and you're basically making money off speculation, and it's supply and demand driven, and that's it. And I was looking at it, and I was like, "Damn, dude, just a few years too early." And that's again when you don't do something and you just have an idea. Who fucking cares? Who cares? But I was looking, I was like, really makes you think. I'm like, what is this digital marketplace thing? And I'm looking, I have all this fucking weird math. Maybe I'll take a screenshot and show you guys just to show you. I have all this weird derivative math, and it's all derivative based. And so it's like basically no one understands the math, and so you just have to buy it, and you're trading on math that you don't understand, and so it's just supply and demand. And I'm like, what the fuck was the point of that? But it's like the same thing with NFTs. With you don't really, there is not something there, but there's a concept to why it's trading. I don't know if anyone saw the in the bullshit channel. Uh, there's this thing called Zed Run. It's it's NFT horse racing. Holy shit, guys! I made my account. I made my stable. You basically buy horses, digital horses that have like stats. It's like a real horse that you don't really know what makes a real horse really good, right? Other than like genetics, right? It's the same thing. These horses, you can breed them from NFTs. If you have two horses, you breed them, right? And can make a new horse, a new NFT. It generates a new NFT, a unique NFT, and you can sell them, right? But you can race them. You enter races, so it's like you pay to enter a race, and there's a pool. So you may pay $5 to win $200, right, in a race against like 12 other horses or 16 other horses, and there you can actually watch the race and shit. But basically, it's that you can buy horses, breed them, and make like a stable. And so I'm like, if I buy, so the marketplace is not very straightforward, and they do like drops, but there's only 30,000 unique, 30,000 starting horses, and then everything gets bred from there. And there's like, I think there's like 10,000 left or so of the 30,000 unique first ones, right? And they all have different DNAs and shit, and that's what makes their stats of how good they are at racing, right? Oh, I'm gonna go get some of those bad boys, create a fucking stable of ponies, boys. No three-legged donkeys here. Every time I bet on horse racing, I get the three-legged donkey, lose my money. We're making fucking digital horses, baby. I've always wanted a horse, like a fucking racing horse. Making a digital stable. We're gonna breed some fuckers. But this shit's actually cool. You can watch the horses race, breed them. I think it's cool. I mean, they're going. So those of you that don't know what I'm like actually talking about, we're talking about like they're going for $15,000 right now. The top horses right now are going for $15,000, and so we're talking about they're to get the worst horse right now, like to get the cheapest horse, they're like $1,000. So it's like actual real shit, and it's been going on for like a couple years now, but now it's getting like picked up. And so you're talking about like, imagine if we pay more for a digital horse than like a real, like a Barbaro. How much did they pay for like some of the Kentucky Derby semen? Right? You want to get your horse fucked by one of the Kentucky Derby winners? It's like $1 million. You want to get fucked? It's $1 million. You want to get some of my ponies? You're gonna need to pay. You want to breed with my pony? You're gonna have to pay. I think I'm gonna be all about it. I'm gonna quit this fucking thing, and what am I doing this for? You know? It's time we open up the unrefusable stable. I'm actually sold. I'm actually sold. I think it's a great fucking idea. It's a great idea. It's all the good things about horse racing without like traumatizing horses. in the greed and in big Rockefeller family types. I'm all about it. Really exciting here, boy. WBT is now at 32. 32. I think we got the target, guys. Get the target on that one. But it's called a new chart. That's a new chart right there. Interesting. Interesting. We traded this chart quite a bit when we started the whole value thing, and it's basically the X chart. It's basically all of those industrial charts. They all look the same, right? We came out of the low here as soon as the election started. They've consolidated the same. This is just called some direct funding right there. EW going off. We like that. That's definitely a windbreaker right there. Oh, guys. Oh, no. Are we going to get all these to go? Oh, guys. Not the bottom timings. Really makes you think sometimes. Damn. Really makes you think. Hmm. We're going to finally get our semi move here. It'd be nice. It would be nice if we get the timing on this one. The semi move, I feel like only got NVIDIA right, Intel right. You get the semi move to come through and confirm the consistency here. I think it's important for this side of things. I think this average looks terrible, but you know it's an average, so you can kind of give it some slack. But you do want to see this side get on its trend and hold it, because I think with the supply issues and everything we see, it's one thing for the average to be averaged out, right? The average is going to return to its average. That just sort of happens. But when we look at the sectors, you don't want it to only be mega caps. It kind of gets, fishy if the rest of growth tickers are not doing well. So if we can get semis doing well, I think that's important. And again, I think there's again, I mean, we're not going to speak early, but we're definitely looking for the trend to continue here. Nothing's changed. Just some of these again are. This is. I don't. I think it's just. It's very separated from the rest of the average, which again is our chance, and that's why I put these on the last couple days, and we're looking for those because the mega caps having the liquidity they have are just showing where the market's going, and that's why I don't really. Sometimes I don't understand the price action of why people sell further, or why you're willing to sell one day, buy the next day. That's not where we are. I don't know. Not where we are. So silly. So silly. See if we get BA here, if this is the low or not. Again, you can just have a candle that comes down tomorrow, but that's not the point. Not the point. Where are we on BRKB? Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Banks off the support from yesterday. This did push down lower, but I didn't mention it for a reason, because this can get you pushed out for no reason. Get you pushed out for no reason. So we're still right where we are. I don't know about that. All right, let's get going. Come on. Catch us back into the trend. Let's catch us back into the trend. Again, clean energy is the thing that, who knows? Tesla, we're still above our entry point. Still above the entry point. We know there's news trading going on this damn thing, but what the hell is going on with the news there? So strange. It's actually, and I want to make sure this is clear. I don't have a bias or something about and you shouldn't do this either. Just because I just recently bought it again, I'm not now going, wow, this news makes me so mad, my position. But I do find it very frustrating that I have to read a Wall Street Journal article every day about how 2 people died in a car crash in a Tesla, and they were in the back seat, and the autopilot wasn't even on, and they somehow fucking, had this thing happen. And I'm like, why are we talking about this so much? And it's like Tesla came out and said the autopilot wasn't, they never even paid for autopilot. So they couldn't have actually had it on. They never paid for it. And these people were in the back seat and crashed and died, right? And then, do you know how many people die every single day from car accidents? And I'm thinking to myself, Tesla's actually the safest. The reason why, I bought my mom a Tesla, and then why I want Tesla is just so fucking safe, right? And I find it so stupid to drive. Anyone knows I haven't driven in fucking ever. I live in the city. I don't drive. I sit in the back seat and I'm a little bitch, right? I'm not dying from a car accident. It's not gonna happen. Good thing we go like 30 miles an hour in the city. Like, I ain't gonna die if I'm in a car accident. But I do find it very aggravating, and that there's like this weird dialogue going on, and I've seen it pop up in a few other places. And you know what it made me think about a little bit is this the people that complain on Wall Street Bets about all the big funds trying to fuck GameStop over. And I'm like, if you look at the difference between the way the big media companies, like when we talk about like newspaper and stuff, attack Tesla for things that are like not warranted, and you compare that to just random uh people on Wall Street Bets posting articles about other companies that has nothing to do with GameStop, but everyone on Wall Street Bets thinks that's an attack on GameStop. I find it hilarious. No one actually attacked GameStop or anything, but there's like this whole cloud of mystery about how there's people getting paid off to fuck over GameStop, and you don't actually see it. They're just all theories, right? But then you actually see it when media actually attacks a company, right? And actually is attacking Tesla. Whether you agree with Elon or not, Tesla has not done anything like wrong, right? They haven't actually done anything like that's bad. And the cars are actually the safest on the road anyway. And it's attacking like this, it's attacking like an idea and then not caring about the people involved anyway. They don't actually care about the 2 people that died. They care about attacking this futuristic idea that wasn't even involved to begin with, right? And I always find it so funny to compare like the two there, where it's like with this GameStop thing, but no one actually attacked GameStop. No one actually gives a fuck about GameStop. It's attacking the premise behind it, right? The idea behind it. And it comes back to like attacking an idea and then not caring. And it's like we finally get the Floyd, we finally get the idea of justice for George Floyd, right? But a lot of the thing still was just an idea, right? And that's how people would defend no, don't believe your eyes, like he's a police officer, like, and it's an idea, and it's not like, no, if you just fucking watch, you can see what happened, right? And we have so much of this in everything now. It's like every time we're critical of anything, it has nothing to do with the actual fucking specifics. It's just, oh no, you don't get it. It's just an idea. You're gonna attack that. I don't like that. Trumpism. What it is. Fucking Trumpism. It's just sour patches out there. How many sour patches? And it's like what I talk about with the market here. Every time I read one of these dumbass journalists that make 40 grand a year that write up some dumbass piece about how one day the market's rallying, they're just as bad as FinTwit. They'll be like, oh, the market's crashing because And it's like, I know how they're looking at it. Like I said yesterday, they're looking at it like, oh my God, look at this rally. And that, oh Jesus, look at, there's so much room to come down here. And they're just looking at it as like only these things here and not, not taking into consideration how anything else works, right? Like, oh Jesus. No, we're down 2%. You don't get it. That's a lot. It's like, well, we're up like 10% in the last 2 weeks. What do you mean? Wait, you're telling me you minus 2% from the 10% I'm in right now? Or I'm down 2% from the 30%? Or how much? The S&P's up 48% in the last year. S&P's up 48% in the last year, and now we're down 2%? And wait a minute. What am I supposed to be caring about again? I'm very confused. Yeah, I want to time it, but what are you fucking talking about? Maybe it's because you're a little bitch and you don't make any money. Maybe that's it. It's like those people that think they can fight, and so they talk a bunch of shit, and then they get punched in the mouth. And like, damn, that sucked. Damn. Yeah. Never mind. Boys, I just want to buy horses, but I can't figure it out. I mean, I'm almost at the point where I gotta get someone to buy me some damn horses. I cannot figure this shit out. It doesn't, you can't buy it on their website, you have to buy it on OpenSea. Does anyone have experience with OpenSea? How you buy NFTs? But there's not, you can't like directly buy it. You have to like make offers. It's not like a buy now. People don't put things for sale. They just like put it on the marketplace and then you have to make an offer or some shit. And I have no fucking clue. I just want to buy some big ass ponies. Give me the big ones. These dumbass donkeys. I'm trying to get a horse that can't fucking run. I'm trying to get a big swinging dick horse out here. Jesus. I mean, the fucking market's going up. What else? I mean, we get the capital. I think the best thing to do for this thing is honestly, it would be I would just buy up. I would buy as many of them as I could, as many of these like the top horses, and then from there create a fucking breeding ground and jack the prices up. If I remove supply, jack the fucking prices up, get them going. You don't even race them. I think that's the thing that people are missing. They keep over racing their horses, and it tells the world what the percentage is for your horse, how you know how strong it actually is. But if you never race it, then they don't know. They just see, oh, he's got good DNA, good daddy. That's what I'm doing. Fucking ready, guys. I'm gonna make $1 million off this fucking thing. I'm telling you right now. Look at that. Isn't that funny? What is this number? 55,650. Around the 55,600 area. 600 to 700. What's going on in there? What's going on in there? Again, you log it and put it on the 3-day on Bitcoin. That's your story right there. Uh, That's the that's the uh that's the average trend angle of the markets right there. When we talk about sort of what's the average velocity of a market, how much year to year is it put on, and again, the trend line that we see on every single chart, that is the trend right there that we just finally put on Bitcoin. And really think about that. We've been on this very sharp trend and talked about a few different trend lines here, right? From that wick to that wick, that is the angle that we see on every single market. Why is it doing it now? Well, think of all the institutions. It seems like the institutions have basically created the why does every market have the same average? Because the same institutions are involved. Well, here you go. That's what that looks like right there. That's the average. You can see it a mile away. That's you go to the S&P. Watch. See that angle? Here we go. Here we go. Just a one day. There it is. That's the angle. That's the same trend line. Yeah, and you just have to convert this over. Oh. That's the trend line. Hmm. We'll see. We'll see. Still trying to figure out how exactly I manage that. There's no timing error. We've seen $1 billion go instantly into Bitcoin. It's instant. So there's definitely no error. It's not like where if you're trying to get out of an options position, it might take some time. It's instant. So, oh, you want to take out $1 million? No problem. Here you go. 5 seconds later. Here's a $10,000 fee though. Can't wait for that. Wrong day so far. Wrong time. Holding the low down here. In terms of prospects, nothing else sticking out really. Nothing sticking out really. I like the gold move. We're doing well on gold now. Talked about it a bit yesterday. It was definitely looking to see that continue. Everything's on schedule, and everything that already got beat up is doesn't really matter. We're not a part of those. Some of these are definitely coming from lows that we don't really care about, but you know, we'll see how some of these continue. It's really about just getting out of this area. So when we take some of these trades at these lows, it's about just getting out of here, and then I don't care what the move is here after. It's just to get out of here, and then I can feel comfortable, right? A little over 3% here. Feel comfortable here, but I want to close the day above there. Close the day above those entries, and then I can feel comfortable and feel like, okay, I can push this for a few weeks here. You know, I got a good low. Like Tesla here, we're close to low, but it's like I feel comfortable about this here. If this was going to be worse, then it would have sold more. And okay, so I feel good enough there. And but we have quite a bit of trades like that. That's where again when you come into the low and then you get this and you go, okay, this is enough for me to feel like okay, I don't need to sit here and watching these prices. Or then the thing that you don't have to do here is now we don't need to think about what if price continued here. What is then our calculation for long trades? How many days can we hold through this downtrend? You don't have to do that when you get this candle here, right? And that's what that's kind of the point. Kind of the point. And gold is continuing to do her thing here, so we're doing well enough. And it's the longevity here that we don't know. We don't know the longevity here. Not clear. Clear. We're doing well enough on this. This is, again, we took the low trade on energy. This is where difficult to line these up to you're on two different time frames here. This big move happens on oil, and then it does not happen on the equity side anywhere. We don't see it anywhere on the equity side. So there should be some catch up. There should be a catch up. I think earnings definitely has a factor on it because that's one of those weird things with some of the energy idea is that earnings, there's not going to be growth of earnings, but there can be confirmation of pricing here, where if the price has increased, it's increasing for the future, so you may not see it on the earnings, and so there could be weakness on the equity side because it's waiting for that confirmation to then price it. We speculate the idea for a while, right? We speculate it for a while, and then we come into earnings, and now we need to confirm it. The way it lines up with the actual futures is not, it's not going to line up. That's why look at where this is compared to where oil is up here, right? They don't line up, so now it's like this is a good enough trade because you just get the catch up. Some of these charts are I like this kind of day, folks. This is my kind of day right here. This is my speed. So nice yesterday. Now it looks like it's gonna rain. What the hell's going on? Like blue skies, but I see the clouds coming. Oh man. Feed says snap earnings tomorrow. Yeah. Now those are interesting as well because those are all numbers based, user based. It's like Netflix, where it's like they only care about how many users, and then it's like, oh, they only went up by 2 million. That's not enough. Those are more fun. This is such a nice entry though. This is such a nice entry that again, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. I yeah. This is where every chart looks the same. So it's like at the end of the day, none of us know. Too good of a trade to pass up, I would say for sure. I would also say, you know what I would also say is that if we had any information at all, it would be that the social media side, when we talk about sort of the big three of Facebook, Twitter, and then Snap, they have done pretty damn well, and we've seen them move together very well. And so I would say at the end of the day that the price action, they've definitely got speculated on a lot, very bullishly, and that can hinder the price action that comes after earnings, right? Sometimes you put so many points on so quick that when earnings come, you sell it, right? That can definitely come in, but in terms of what would happen thereafter, like a week after earnings, I would say that they definitely have the most sort of bullishness about them, right? When you think about it in the sense that this move that's come out of the low that we've seen all tickers do, but Facebook started the move much earlier, right? Even though you have this, again, this is just a very natural looking pullback here. I'd say because of how bullish these have been, probably good spots to be picking these up again, going into earnings even, right? Pretty good spots. If I have to, not to convince myself, but they all have the same technical setup. We're buying everything at the same support, so it's like if I just buy every single one of them, more than 50% of them are going to do better, right? More than 50% of them are going to go up from earnings. And so if you're able to buy everything and then, you capture points off of those supports before earnings and you make money before the earnings, then again, it doesn't matter what happens on the earnings. And so some people specifically trade for earnings and then you flip a coin 100 times. Sometimes it's going to be heads 100 times and then it feels stupid, right? We just remove it. But I'm excited to see some of the numbers because I think we have so many. I think everyone expects so many great numbers from, or everyone did expect such great numbers from Q2 here. And the numbers are great. I mean, we've done really well through COVID, but it's like people have anxiety of how far we sort of went in our thinking that this quarter was going to be fucking amazing. It's because you look at like China and then they post an 18% gain, and it's like in like GDP and shit like that, and you look at companies and you're like, we should be doing pretty good. But it's like we already did all the points when we came out of COVID from the very start, right? That was a, you know, 3 quarters ago, and I already did those. You come out of it very fast and then you slow back down to a trend, but I mean, there's still this anticipation that we're gonna fucking blow it out of the water here. So, we'll see. I mean, Apple announcing things. I don't know. Got all those emails, and we saw them announce things. Like, you can see it has no effect, right? It's like, okay, they're gonna announce new. They even have their own chips and shit, so they don't have to rely on other people or whatever. It makes zero difference. No one cares. Nobody cares. Like, you can be like, well, didn't it start trending up before we knew it, and then as soon as it happened, like that's why it was going up? It's like, well, the whole market was going up, so obviously not. And then as soon as we find out about new Apple products, it's like, okay, nothing happened, because it doesn't. They're expected to do that. You're expected to get a new iPhone every fucking year. You're expected, these things they're inherently a part of. They're inherently a part of the price, right? That's the whole point of being growth. You grow. We're pricing in the growth anyway. That's where things like Amazon are a little. I look for things like Amazon to make a little bit of a different move, because and that's why this price action is so terrible. I would say I think it's terrible price action. I actually hate the price action here still, and it's because you're just back and forth, And all the trading is around the fact that no one really knows. Everyone knows that Amazon's taken over the world, but we need to see some things. And so as soon as Amazon announces that they're doing something or they're buying the world, they're their own country, then the price gets going, right? And those things matter a lot more than that's where like them being a growth company is they're a growth company on their ability to take over sectors and to push themselves. And if you look at Microsoft right now, Microsoft has been buying up everything right now. Like they were just trying to buy Discord. Discord said no to go Discord wants to go public, but Microsoft has been buying up a ton of companies. They just spent like I don't know what it was, 20 billion on some other I can't remember the name of the company, but uh, they just did that this past year, and they've been doing this for the last few years, M&Aing everything, and that's because if you look, I don't know if anyone's looked at the chart of the cash flow that the Fang stocks have. It's it's insanity. If like removing Tesla, if we look at the five Fang stocks, their cash flow all together is the most insane thing you've ever seen in your life. It's so much money. They can literally do anything. They have cash. They just have cash that they can go buy anything. Hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, right? Hundreds upon hundreds of billions of dollars, right? Of cash just sitting around. And so they can just buy everything, and that's like the thing with Amazon. It's like if you guys remember like 2018 or so, everyone thought Amazon was going to buy up like FedEx and UPS, and they were just going to take it over the whole thing, and then they didn't, and then they came out with fleets of fucking their own things. And so sometimes it's about instead of buying the competitors, they just beat the competitors out, and then maybe they get I mean, there's some sort of opportunity cost there, obviously that worked out better for them, but these sort of things are like that's the next step on some of these companies, and it's like I think that's where some of the growth is going to come in, and that's where when we look at inflation and everything else, like it's going to get more expensive to do that. And so that's where like oil, we saw a consolidation on the oil side, and we should be able to see more of those. Chevron and Exxon are going to it's going to happen because they won't become obsolete. They will take over the renewable energy sector. They're still the biggest energy companies. They will convert from oil to solar and wind and hydro and all these things. Those things will happen, right? To continue to grow, you need to consume, right? They're going to consume everything. They will. Antitrust my ass. Apple will be a $50 trillion company. Gonna happen. Fucking Bezos will be worth $1 trillion. It's gonna happen. And it doesn't take very long. The faster they consume. What is this here? Oh, I love how that opened up on the stream. Yeah, Nuance Communications. That's what it was. Right. They're just buying everybody. And that's the thing about Microsoft. What does Microsoft even fucking do? They just have they haven't done they don't do anything different. They don't have it's not like new products coming out that it's not the same sort of growth, right? They just sort of naturally grow. They naturally grow based on the fact that they're the OS for every fucking computer, right? Besides Apple, right? But it's like, you know how they can grow is they just buy everybody else. Think of Google. How many dumb things did we see Google try, right? Google is, I think, still the be all end all because they can do anything. They're an everything company. And, you know, I don't, that's why I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, see, that's why the price. But think about the price of Google. Google continued to go through all time highs when the rest of them consolidated. This fucker just kept going and going. And when you think about some of the ideas, like, again, they don't want to find correlation where there is none, but the reality is that they're the ones that they don't have an identity that stops them from doing anything. They whatever generates profit, they can go buy and do. And if there's something for the future, they can go buy it and take it. And I think that's such a important thing. And again, they have hundreds. The cash is infinite, infinite, just infinite. They have their own printer, right? You just go do anything. They're gonna keep growing. That's for sure. They're going to keep growing. They'll keep growing. There right now, they're 1.5 trillion. But think about how many. It's insane to think about. It. Oh God, the whole thing's still insane to think about. How quickly we got back to all-time high. That's 76 trading days. The all-time high. On that was for the Nasdaq tickers, for the tech, the FANG. FANG stocks took 76 days, trading days, to get to all-time high. It took fucking 3 months. And then they doubled in value. Oh God, it still makes me sick. It still makes me sick to think that Apple doubled in value. Oh God, it makes me sick to think about. And then people want to buy today. That's why I've been saying like the best time to buy was yesterday. It's just insane to think about this. That Apple doubled in value in this amount of time. Fuck. That was such a wild time. I wish we could go back. We could do it again. I wish we could do it again, folks. Fuck me. And they think this is insane. Crazy. Crazy to think about. Crazy to think about. Getting going. I like it. I like it. Good confirmation. Good confirmation. But it's different. It's different, right? You should be consolidating here. The Bloomberg articles are right. You should be consolidating because we put so many 14 trading days in a row of gaining and so many points. You should be consolidating. Longer consolidation, right? This time's different. That's the bet. It's different. It's different. Here, give me 1 sec, guys. Go. All right. Where's the timing? Again, value still outpacing. Obviously. Value outpacing growth still. Again, almost all of that is due to earnings right now for the short term. We know overall value technically should be doing better, or yes, technically should be doing better because of how how the markets are going right now because of inflationary reasons, right? And how growth gets more negatively affected. So when it comes off the high, growth makes a larger move to the downside. But then even when we see when it goes to the upside, value is making a larger move comparatively to growth, right? So that's a still confirms some of this idea. So we want to be in the leader. So again, about 90% of my portfolio is in value. So doesn't feel bad to be there. Um, Interested to see how far this gets going on the bank side because again, we have buybacks coming in for banks, but we don't know specifically if these things have been going on. I do suspect from what I talked about last week and a couple weeks ago is that a lot of this price action that you see here uh, is some of that, and some of it's off. You know, they're supposed to. We're supposed to know everything, but we don't really sometimes know until after that actually happened or not. But I would say that these things are happening within the moves currently. You're a bank, you want to get a good price, so we'll see how banks continue to do because this is a part of the number. Otherwise, it's kind of the same old story here. Same old story. Here's the Dow. That's the Dow. Here's the ones that are not on the high. Apple down 40 basis points, which we know is going to pick up from here. It is doing pretty well. Again, it got a little bearish from candle yesterday, but it's picking up there, and everything else is green. So J&J has some news, but it's actually doing decently well. So it's uptrending, looks pretty decent. So again, it's just from the close. So Disney, this is the trade that I want and I think is quite bullish and in a very precarious spot in terms of. I would say there's some different reasons why it's down here that have nothing to really do with its price. So we'll see how that goes. And then Verizon again, we had communications sector get all pushed all over the place, and I actually really enjoyed the count we have so far. So value is just, I mean, look at IBM continue, right? Like this kind of thing here. This is the kind of I would say price action that when you think of earnings on this side of the market, it makes things, I would say, these are the true surprises, right? The market cares about growth growing. For value, like IBM is a value company, it's always funny to see these make such big moves off of earnings, right? And how it leads what's going to happen. Value does not, it doesn't sort of do the thing where growth will be choppy and all over the place going to earnings and there's anxiety. Think about how value has been trending up and then how this gets here. It's the same way that when value is doing poorly, earnings reflect that because it's always trading for its current value. It's not trading for future value or future growth. It's trading for the current value, which is why earnings on value are always null. They always get priced accordingly to how they're going to be. And that's where when I talk about when we bet on value, just like banks, we know banks are going to reflect the price action we're already seeing, right? And that's the difference. And so you get something like this and it goes, well, of course. But then when you look at it, it just stands out and it makes a big fucking difference. It makes such a big difference to your positions that you can get price action that, uh, is just, blah. Fuck does IBM even do? See if Nike comes out low. I talked about it. This is such a terrible chart. Uh, Terrible. Terrible. Gross. I mean, what is this? What are we doing down here? Really don't know. Really don't know. I'm coming out of the low. Not something I want to trade. Other than through the average. Exposed. The Honeywell move, yet like, yeah, see some of the. I talked about this yesterday. How I like the. Uh, I'm already a part of this position, but how you can hold through this and feel confident, and even you could say buy there because of if it's all the points are quickly, and this is again what value does very well. Value will not these larger companies that don't really trade through growth of earnings, they just trade through the value of the earnings. The the price action will just happen immediately, and it doesn't do this price action that is like lying to itself of what exactly is going to happen. And again, it's really because of the players involved. This sort of thing, whether something happens on earnings or not here, it's the fact that this was never, it's not like in question of whether or not you can hold through this candle or not. Again, not to say captain hindsight because it's going up, but again, we talked about all these candles at the lows yesterday, how we're taking them. We're taking it. We're not thinking it's going to go lower. Now this is going to be the big boy. We'll see how that does. Where's no video and all this? Oops. They're in the same spot right here. I like our semis. He's still trading on the trend line. This one still, I don't know. You could take it on the trend line every day and you'd be fine. Market dependent. Keep it on the ETF. Over here. All right. Where the hell? Yeah, Zed's all Ethereum. There's no gas prices or anything though. Now that everything's. How do I? For whatever reason, I can't open it on my Chrome that fucking website. But if I show you I can't open the actual website on Chrome. I have to open it on Edge or something different. So here's where so you get the actual this is not the actual website for it. This is where like one of the marketplaces for it. But here's my problem. Is that people are putting them on here. And I can search based so there's like different bloodlines, breed types, different colors, unique. The marketplace is down on the website, but my Z.run is what it's called, and watch. It does not load on my Chrome. It doesn't load on my Chrome. I have to do it on Edge. So the actual website doesn't work for my Chrome. But so anyway, there's if we could actually see it here. You get these damn horses, right? But here's the thing. So you can't actually use the marketplace on the website because the website's for like when there's like pack drops and breeding and shit like that. That's not live right now. But so you can come here on OpenSea and buy horses and put it into your stable. But my thing is here is that like, so if I want to go buy one of these, it's not like I can go. It's not the way the OpenSea thing works is you have to go like make an offer and do these things, right? And and so it's not like you would have to do. I would need to do like a scrub, like a screen scrub, screen scrape, and basically figure out what exactly is the thing because you can't really sort. You can sort, but it's not like you can see what's actually available. These are just fucking the horses that you would need to. They have a Discord, and you go into Discord and see people that they want to buy it. But there's not links to the horses here. It's just like a link to the fucking horse on the website that their horse, and then you have to DM them and shit. I'm not DM nobody to buy their damn horses. I'm not DMing like a bunch of fucking people. So some of the things like I do like how they show like the rarities and some of them you can see stats, but this is like a little bitch horse. I don't want this horse. This horse sucks. How's this horse? How's that? Q1. So like you can see the last price. This was 0.39 Ethereum. How much is that? Does anyone know what the actual prices of these are? What's 0.39? Let me see. ETH price. So that would be about $600 or something. It'd be $1,000. So that horse that we just looked at there is $1,000. This one's $1,000. What's he got? So Butterton is the least rare. but he's got a rare color. See, like this bad boy, this is like one of the weak horses. He's just got a rare color. And he's $1,000. It's not. It's so sort of new, and there's not like a way to instantly buy these things, that the prices are really open ended, just like all NFTs, right? And so then it comes down to some shady dealings, right? Some shady dealings, and there are some. I was looking. Maybe can I show the actual thing on here? So I can't show you the website because it doesn't work for me. But you can see it on Twitch, for instance, right? Oh, I don't have good quality for you guys. My bad. Oh god, the quality's terrible. I can't show it the actual quality for whatever reason. The fuck. But look at these are the bad boys, and they fucking race, guys. And you see how they get different generations and shit, and then these bad boys run. I don't know what race this is. I think it'll say. And you pay like $10 for your horse to get into a races and shit. Oh my god, guys, I'm all about it. All about it. Look at these fuckers. Love you long time. Auto-generated names. You gotta love them. And look at you get these bad boys going, and based on the horse runs faster in the start, the end. I like it, guys. I like it. We just need to figure out how to actually buy horses properly. I know the marketplace and stuff's down on the actual website and everything else, but uh, if we want to make it this, I'm all about making it a thing here. Like the cheapest horses right now are like $1,000. I'm all about it. I think that's awesome. Like obviously there's pack drops and shit, and I think that might be that's cheaper when you get the actual horses that way, but there's like big stat websites and stuff. Like they have a Discord. There's like these big webs. There's like a website of all the stats of all the horses, and you can figure out the data behind which breeds actually are the fastest, which one has like which ones are going to generate the best um, like breeding probabilities, and all these different fucking statistics that I think add like a derivative to the actual outcomes that it's very probability based. So, but I like the idea of just uh, being the breeding king. I like betting on horse races anyway, so my thing. But and there's different classes too. There's like the class 1 horses that are like fucking insane, and then there's lower tiers, and you can still have like shit horses that make you money, right? Which is nice. See, I love the whole NFT thing. I think it's so interesting. And here's my one comment I will make on whether we're in a bubble of cryptos and shit. Like, is Dogecoin a good example of why the whole crypto thing is a farce, and that it's in a bubble, and that it's gonna burst, and how it's unsustainable? Dogecoin makes up less than what is it? Less than 2% of the crypto market. Less than that. It's like less than one. It's like 1%. I think it's 1%. Something like that. It's of the whole market. It's a small amount, right? It's not very much because of one cool craze, or they're outsiders, they're outliers, right? They don't influence other things. It's like having GME. Does GME influence the entire market? If we're in, wow, that GME thing was so crazy. The market is so crazy right now. Does that influence the whole market? Is it the whole market? No, of course not, right? So it's like you can't tie these things together. So it's like some of these things you have to separate, right? You have to separate them. And this one, for instance, though, like this NFT idea here for the horse racing is such a separate idea. It's completely different from the others. Completely different. There's actually a level of, again, most of it's for entertainment anyway. Definitely adds a level of entertainment, and skill is a hard word to use, but I would say there's like a level of skill so involved, and that's what attracts me a little bit to that idea more compared to just buying random NFTs and trying to get someone to convince them that it has value. This has at least numbers that you can use. See, folks, happy about it. Girl's still hanging out. Value, we're doing great. Fucking love the Dow play. Yep, looking decent. Definitely looking decent. Tesla with the green JJR mentions. I mean, again, in terms of this entry here, and is this the low for a long-term trade? Earnings definitely makes things interesting. I mean, I think it's in a good spot. Nice trend. I think it's a nice enough trend anyway that we have here for one of the most volatile megas. So I would like to, for this position, I would like to gain. Let me put it from my point. So we're at 2.5% right now on the underlying. Earnings is on the 26th, so that's on Monday. By Friday, yeah, so maybe we get another 2.5%. If we can get another 2.5%, I'd feel really comfortable going over the weekend, going into earnings. I think 5% from the entry, so from entering at 700, I think 5%, I'd feel comfortable. My long-term trade, like going right into earnings. When you think of like what could happen, you get like -5%. Uh, those things. I think here, this is a good example of you're going to do well through earnings still, and I don't think there's not. We're already so far past things in the now mattering comparatively for Tesla. We're really far past the now mattering. It's all about what happens in the future. So it's all guidance based, and Tesla's really good about just making shit up every quarter. So we're gonna be good. And we're all it's gonna be about is are the factories getting going, right? Is Berlin going? What's going on with China? China's already selling more Teslas anyway. And then it's gonna be about the plant in Texas, the new largest factory in the world. Tesla already had the biggest factory in the world. Now they're making that factory in Texas. I don't know how we'll get an update on that, right? When they plan on making vehicles. I mean, I don't think I would say 5% is what I'd you could lose. You could lose like 5% if it at the most, I would say, or something. Like if I put it into like a from my entry, like a probability in sort of a zone of worry, it would be like 5%. I think you could lose 5% from earnings or something. And I'd be willing to hold through that. It'd be at my break even. So definitely a good start here. You got Thursday, Friday. You're definitely, I mean, you're obviously going to move more than 5% from high to low overall. You can be swinging back and forth or putting more than 5% up or down. So definitely in terms of volatility, you can easily do that. That's only another 2.5%. So you could easily do that. And based on where the market is now, that's what we expect. So if we get some help here and get some points, I'd be all about it. If we come down on this trade here, it definitely complicates things. And I only took this because it was offering us a chance here anyway. If this comes down tomorrow or Friday below my low and I get stopped out, really not sure about. I won't enter. I probably will not enter that before earnings. So again, you would need some, even to push over the weekend. I would need something, need some sort of, I don't know, incentive, right? Need an incentive. Products trading on the trend line, which is funny. Yeah. We'll see where that goes. And I'm looking at so many REITs right now, and it's kind of disgusting. But uh, SPG being one of the larger ones, I mean, we'll see where these get going to. I mean, this sideways move is great for long-term positions, and that's the benefit of the REITs is that you just get in them. But looking at so many of them, looking at so many. Definitely a big candle so far. Moving through the supply, which is the important factor, back into the channel. Same. The, the whole, this whole thing on the REITs and stuff, I think it's one of those still, it's so understood the relationship between real estate and inflation, but the COVID factor has really messed up our math. And that's where again some of the REITs have performed so well, and I think we've done really well technically trading them because there's so much uncertainty all the time, and that has allowed for some really great trades that we've been a part of through the value trade through here, right? But I think over here with the the addition of inflation, right? These will do well through inflation, but there's still some that are doing they're they're really beat up because of COVID, and there's not really any hope for them other than to consolidate. And you just basically will get big mergers and these things. And the thing is though is that if you're on the wrong side of the coin, you're not going to make as it could be that one of the REITs you're trading gets bought by another one, but then it doesn't gain anything for you, and you just kind of you're like, okay, that nothing happened. And that can happen, I think, a little bit. And so there's some hesitancy to still join some of these because it's like, well, if they're not going to recover and all we have is inflation here, then you need the ones that are doing well already through COVID, and the inflation is going to help them. And so some of these ideas are they're just kind of contrary. So I do like the fact that there's so many reads. They're all very different. They're all trending, but they definitely they flow at different times, and so it does allow for very technical trades that, and again, earnings and shit don't matter, so that's helpful. And hmm, funny. Really, it, folks. Have much here. This didn't play that well. Not play very well. Guys, I'm just trying to buy a goddamn horse, okay? I'm just trying. It's almost as hard as buying a real damn horse. I'm gonna just message one of the, why don't I just message one of these people on the Discord? Here, let me do this. Bring this over here. What maybe what should be done here is I should do some I need to figure out how to buy a horse. I know how to do it technically, but maybe what should be done here. I'm gonna figure that out. And then crunch some numbers. Crunch some numbers and figure out what is the best route to go for buying horses and fucking breeding them. All about it. Let's see. Community website. That's what we're looking for. Okay, where's the Discord? Aha, there we go. Okay. Price is 0.2. Okay, here's one of the big boys. Or wait, this one. So this one's 1.4. How much is a 1.4? 5,000? Something like that. Motherfucker. Hey guys, market looks good, okay? Oh, okay, okay. Now I see. If I go to the Matic, okay. We're figuring things out, boys. So like this one, I went onto the Discord and people have them for sale. Some of them are really dumb and they don't know how to do things. I can tell. I can just tell because they keep listing the link of the horse, but it's not to like the link to buy the horse. It's like a link to what the horse is on the website. So it's like I click the horse and it goes to this thing. Oh yeah, I can't see it on this Chrome link, whatever. And it goes to like the link of the actual horse on the website. I don't know if anyone's seen it yet, but so like here I can place a bid. This one's I can actually do it and then get the things and then it fucking makes more sense, right? And then it's on this Matic, so it's Matic.OpenSea. It's not just OpenSea, it's the Matic chain and shit like that. You have to go through, and then it allows you to do it through the actual thing. And look at this guy's name is Doctor Mantis Toboggan. I like that. He's about $1,000. Yeah, I don't like this one though. He's already got a win percentage. He's a baby though. He's a new one. But see, he's already been racing. I like this guy. But I think we got it now. We got some ideas now. What exactly we are supposed to be doing. Now we're getting there. Here we There we go. Let's take a look here. Top-rated horses. This horse comes in first place 24% of the time. And he's won. Holy moly, look at return ROI is 115%. Guy's out here making 100% trades. He's made 8 ETH. How much is 1 Ethereum right now? $3,000? Boys. This horse is bringing in the stacks. That's 24 grand. He's racing all the damn time. These are big races. Okay. What I want to see. Okay, here's the supply. Okay, yeah, here's the thing that is important here. Is the supply. So there's only a certain amount of supply of each of these. Let me see. Can we see that? No. So Nakamoto is the big boy horses. These are the big boys. And then it goes Sasbo, Finney, and then Butterton. So there's only 2,000. There's only going to be 2,000 of these bad boys. And there's only this many remaining. So we're like right at the precipice right here. There's going to be only 2,000. There's only going to be 1,000 of like the first generation. And there's only 258 left. And look at the next price prediction is $23,000 for the horse. Right now it's 15 to 16,000. Next one's gonna be 22, but you can get it in a pack. You get it in a pack. I don't know what the price is for the pack or anything, but if you get one of these bad boys, it can be worth quite a bit. But we could play the numbers game a little bit. We may not get these ones, but you can build a stable out of these bad boys or something. You have a higher chance of getting these, and then you just gotta. The thing is like the fucking supply again, and I think this is a little bit the way the supply works on this is a lot better than the NBA Top Shot, because the problem with Top Shot is no one could get a pack, and so since you couldn't get a pack, the only way you could do it is go buy on the marketplace. But the marketplace is just there's so many. It's just so different that it's not consistent. This is consistent. This is it. This is it. And then you breed horses from there, and then the stats fall based on how it breeds and shit, which is way more consistent. And it does not require the like NBA Top Shot. They're like, oh fuck, no one can get a pack, so they increase supply, and as soon as they increase supply, the price plummeted, right? The price is the supply is consistent. You can only breed a certain amount of horses, which means the price will be consistent based on that. And so like these top horses, they're getting priced because of how much supply they generate, right? And so again, it's all supply and demand. I can do the numbers on this a lot easier, right? I can do it a lot easier. And then you can compare. And so we have stats and everything of like the actual horses. And so like, look at this isn't even one of the. This is a Sajbo, and it's one of the smaller horses, and it's like this kind of thing where you can race it, and then you get a little bit of variance on your side, a little bit of probability and luck, and so this is an 11-0 horse. He's won every race, and he's not the top horse, and so then you do that, and then you can go breed this fucker for you know, a ton of money. I wish I could open this up on here because I want to show you guys the website because I know some of you aren't. You guys are lazy. Let me do it on Edge and show you guys. But I think it's interesting to see. So like, let me switch my screen over. Change windows. So here's the actual website, right? I don't have anything yet, but so like this is the horse that's 11-0, right? And so you can, Royd Rager, love the name. He's got a color, and so this is like the website, and you can see its parents, and so their probabilities, and so again, the way that these are created in the different way that the bloodlines work, the gen, which is the lower this number, the closer it is to uh, those very rare Genesis horses, which are like the originals, and makes the stats better. So let's go take a look, right? So here's the first generation. So this is the rarest one, the Nakamoto one, right? So this is like the be all end all, right? It's the rarest one we just saw. There's only going to be ever 2,000 of these. There'll only be 2,000 of these Z1 horses, and then they can breed other ones, right? And the closer it is to it, the better the stats, right? But since it's consistent with supply, there's, there'll only ever be 38,000 of these. So these ones as well, right? So these are all Gen 1 horses, and then from there they get breeded into different generations, and sometimes they could be good, bad, right? And they'll be worth a certain amount of money. But this is where there's a variance where you can get like that horse we just saw was this guy. It's not even this one, and it's like the most winning horse, and so there's still like you can still get it based on probability, right? And that's how kind of that's really what makes it interesting, is that it doesn't need to necessarily be, that's like the NFT part, where the NFT could be, it doesn't need to be the best art or something for it to be worth the most, right? And so when we look through some of these things, so you get the races, right? So class 1 is the biggest races. So right now, these are the races that are going to be going soon. So it's, for instance, there's a $50 fee to enter this long race, and it's a $606 price, right? This one's $5 for $73. So those are class 1s, 25 for 300. Class 2, you start to go down, but look, so some of the prices still, and so like you go to the last class, right? And it's like $5 for the same amount. And so even though it's a lower class, right? Look at the odds, it's the same odds. And so this is where you can actually, and it's like interesting because it's like real horse racing, where it's like it doesn't need to be the big ponies. You can actually still win quite a bit from the races. It's the same amount of winnings from the races, right? It's not, some of the big races obviously have more, but it costs more. These are, look at the prices, right? 2.5, $5 to win 75. That was just like these ones, $5 to win 75, and these horses cost like 10 times as much, right? And so there's like a way to race horses or just to breed horses, and I think that's pretty fucking nifty. Oh, those would be my winnings and results. We don't have those. So breeding down right now. Where's the so yeah, there's like the stream. There's all the different things, right? I think it's pretty fucking cool, guys. Pretty fucking cool. And then yeah, like what we were just looking at. Um, Back over. So like when we look at like the analytics side, there's like a lot of different um there's a lot of different resources for looking at stuff. I don't know if this is specifically the one. There's like a lot of them. What else we got? Oh why that's not loaded. There's some pretty cool resources out there, it looks like. We'll see. But it looks really cool. But I'm pretty sure there's some people that have like 1,000 horses already. And so they're like, there's definitely some, but I mean, it's still, I would say like, it's not at its peak, obviously. So there's still, there's still time. But that's where it might be based on the way the supply works. It wouldn't really peak out the way that some of the other NFTs do. It would be more of a trend, which is more consistent, which means there's more pliability in terms of actually making money on it. The entertainment part is I pay for the entertainment, but there's still a chance to profit from trading on it. If the trading system gets worked out a little bit, which they're working on right now since it's so new, if they do make the marketplace a little bit easier, and I haven't seen it on their website yet, what the actual marketplace works, how it works yet. They're obviously updating it so that it's a lot more consistent how you can buy and sell right on the market. If that gets worked out, then you can easily go, you know, manipulate a little bit, get some pull some data, figure out what's the best chances, and breed some ponies. A lot more exciting than watching this paint dry, right? I told you guys, long-term trades. That's it. There ain't nothing to be done over here. We're just hanging out. There's nothing. That's what you want. You want. I think that's gonna be it, folks. We'll see if I have a horse by the time we get back. If I can buy a horse by the time we get back, and we can race that bad boy, get him going, right? We're buying the legs, right? I don't care if he's a little guy, little pony. I don't care. Get some good blood in him, right? What it's about. Maybe we find, you never know. Maybe I'm going to look at the numbers. Maybe some of you that are interested, there might be a strategy to buy all of the cheap horses. So they're going, you buy all the cheap ones and you buy a ton of them. And then you just breed the hell out of them and you get lucky sometimes. There might be a variance there that makes sense. Upfront cost a little bit in that sense, but you have a higher probability on sort of the output factor. Also in the race factor. There are free races that pay money. And some of those races only cost like $1, $2, so you can win like $70 on. You go enter all your horses, right? Might be worth it. Do some of that math. Obviously, I'd like to just buy one of the big ones. I can buy a horse for like 10K, and that's got good shit, and then go from there. I think that'd be a lot easier. But I don't want to have to. I don't want just like one horse. That kind of. I mean, that kind of sounds cool, but it will only if it was one of the cool ones. If I get one of the first generation ones, that'd be really cool. Just fucking buy one of those, and I think it's worth it right now, based on what we see right now, and the fact that I just found an article yesterday. It popped up on Twitter. Somebody wrote an article about it. They spent like 5 hours trying to learn the thing, and then they got addicted to it and post an article. Uh, yeah, obviously it's very new, so get pretty hype. So maybe we come back. We'll see. Again, the market's what matters the most, but at the end of the day, there's not much to see here other than we're going through the ropes right now, and we got confirmation of okay, trend's still going. Right, we didn't plummet today, did we? No, we didn't. So prices are going up. Value looks good. Uh, Earnings, we're getting things. This is going to be uh, a good start here to to see what exactly we get here. Last earnings, we had a gap up on Netflix, and then price came all the way back down. We had a gap down here. Is the price going to come all the way back up, making this thing just go back and swing back and forth? That's what prices do, right? Swing back and forth, level to level. So that'll be interesting to see on Netflix where we are by the end of the day. But at the end of the day, none of these moves are consequential for the long term, other than from where you start and where your entry is. So there's no trades. I'm not taking any of these trades. So that's it. There's no trades. So we'll see where things are at close. Looking very, very good though. Pretty happy about my spot right now. So I will see you guys this afternoon. Enjoy your lunch. I'll be here. If I find some shit about horses, you find some. Hit me up. You find out some of you, you know, you want to buy some horses with me, let me know. We get a stable going. I'm all for it. I'm looking to spend some money and do it. So if we can figure it out, do it as a team, that'd be cool. So I'll see you guys this afternoon. Find out what I got. Enjoy.